Epic Universe continues to grow with every passing week, looking more and more like a complete theme park ahead of its summer 2025 opening. In just the last few days, we've seen the Skyfly rides assembled for How to Train Your Dragon, more false track installed for the Donkey Kong roller coaster, and the Universal Monsters windmill take shape. Let's check in on construction for all areas of the new park, as well as what we can learn from permits in today's news update. Jumping right into construction progress for How to Train Your Dragon: The Isle of Berk, both of the main structures for the Skyfly flat rides have been installed. Manufactured by Gerstlauer Amusement Rides, according to notice of commencement documents filed with Orange County, this attraction allows riders to control whether or not they would like to go upside down. A user control allows riders to perform barrel rolls as the ride rotates around at an angle, creating the feeling of rising and falling as it goes around. This set of 2 Skyfly rides is being themed as Dragon Racing, as seen in How to Train Your Dragon 2. It is expected that this attraction will be named Dragon Racers Rally, a term that has been trademarked for use within theme parks. Thanks to recent aerial photos from BioReconstruct on social media, we are able to see a dragon figure that was unboxed from a large carton and then installed onto one of the 2 Skyfly rides. The dragon figure, which appears to be modeled after Stormfly from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, has been installed onto the counterbalance end of one of the ride arms. This is the end opposite of where the riders will be seated. When the attraction is rotating, it will create the illusion that the dragon is the force behind the ride's motion. Admiring the details along the base of this Skyfly ride, we can see ornate dragon-like details around it. On this base, they are blue in color, same as the dragon controlling the ride. However, the second Skyfly ride base is adorned with red details. Perhaps this could be a subtle tribute to Islands of Adventure's former Dueling Dragons attraction. And even if not, it appears that 2 different color dragons and their riders will be competing against one another on this attraction. Zooming out and moving towards the entrance to this land, work has started on paving this section of pathways around the lagoon. Attachment points and supports for themed elements have been added to the land's entry portal. It is expected that the How to Train Your Dragon portal will be themed as a hillside, and this hillside motif will carry on all throughout the land. For a preview of what the flat cliffs and green hills of the Isle of Berk may look like, we can see this small finished section of theming here, located within this circle of coaster track. Hills designed to look like these are expected to be installed atop several of the buildings within this land, as well as on top of the entry portal. The largest of these hills and cliff face motif will be placed all along the outer sides and atop of the Mead Hall dining location. The rounded dining room in the front will be covered in rockwork, while also acting as a base for the land's centerpiece Force Perspective Mountain. The sides of the Mead Hall structure are being covered in attachment points to receive Force Perspective hillside flats and rockwork of its own. Similarly, but on a much smaller scale, the candy shop across the path from the Mead Hall is expected to be covered in some hilltop and cliff theming of its own. Footings for possible prefabricated hills have been installed along the roof. We can also see the signature Berk architectural arch design taking shape over this doorway to the candy shop. Around the back, framing structures that may be for rockwork are being installed. These will continue the rock wall style, as can be seen lining the lagoon walls in this area, connecting those rock features to the future hillside atop the candy store, which will all come together to make it look as though this building was built into a mountainside. On the other side of the lagoon, behind the kids' play area, a lot of wireframe pieces are being installed for rockwork around the roller coaster's second launch. A section of completed but still unpainted rockwork can already be seen to the left of the coaster track. This possible show scene on the coaster attraction is being surrounded by the same cliff and hillside style as seen elsewhere in the land, while also acting as a backdrop behind the play area. All of the wood planks for the roof of the coaster station building appear to have been installed, and nearby, not much has changed for the coaster's first launch, which is surrounded by framing but not yet enclosed. Some framing has gone up on both sides of the track for the final brake run though, before the coaster heads back into the station. The roof panels for the coaster's exit gift shop also looks to be complete. This exit gift shop, which is connected to the Mead Hall structure via guest restrooms, was shown in permits recently as having an on-ride photo pickup. That means that every land in Epic Universe will have at least one attraction with an on-ride photo. Permits have also shown that the Donkey Kong coaster, Universal Monsters main ride, and the Harry Potter British Ministry ride will have one as well. A new bridge has been added, separating the entry lagoon, where the large statues will greet guests entering the land, from the outdoor boat ride lagoon on the other side. It looks like the interior walls of the boat ride lagoon are being themed now, with one side looking like man-made retaining walls here, and another section made to look like natural stone. The boat ride's load and unload area's conveyor belt has been wrapped in plastic and then covered in a temporary platform during this phase of construction. Structures related to the boat ride have been buried up to ground level on this side, but are still exposed on their backsides. These will act as a sort of basement level, as we are still expecting Burke-style houses to be built above the ground level on top. And one final attraction to check in on within this land, the roof for the large indoor stage show is nearly complete. Only a small section over the theater's stage itself is left to be installed. Quickly looking at milestones within other lands of the park, Super Nintendo World continues to look just like the first version of the land that's already open at Universal Studios Japan. Keep in mind that while it will contain all of the same main attractions as that version, the Epic Universe iteration is slightly larger, and as a result, some elements will be oriented differently, including Mount Beanpole, located across from Peach's Castle. Behind the Mushroom Kingdom area, the Donkey Kong Minecart roller coaster has received more of its false track since our last update. A section of this cartoony minecart track has been installed on top of the ride's temple-themed entry facade. We can see the jagged edges where it appears that this minecart track ends. These are for moments where it will appear that our cart is jumping over gaps in the track. This arrow is showing a small missing section of minecart track. The sideways yellow track hiding behind it is what our ride vehicle will actually be riding on. Using a patented technology that Universal calls the Boom Coaster, our minecarts will appear to be rolling along this horizontal railroad-style track, but really our carts will be attached to a short arm that glides along the sideways track hidden below. The real sideways track is painted different colors depending on where it is on the ride to help blend it into its surroundings. Here we can see that the sideways track is multiple colors in just a small section of the ride, and for the most part just looks to be part of the minecart track's support structure. This part of the ride will make it appear that our ride vehicle is skating across a water feature in front of the temple. And this part will make it appear as though we are careening out of control on this banked turn over some gnarly sections of ragged track. The false minecart track is not the only themed element being worked on for this attraction, as it appears that the walls of this trench were recently themed and painted. Stepping now into the dark universe, the world of Universal Monsters, while we've been watching the portal take shape from the front, it's interesting to note what's been transpiring around the back. After walking through the portal, it looks as though guests will be routed around a curved path, creating a reveal for the village as we turn the corner. The monster's village itself is framed by a broken bridge at the entrance, obscuring our point of view even more. As we pass under the broken bridge, which you can see the framing for now, we then have to make our way down the winding street before the full scale of the massive manor is revealed ahead. We will enter the manor to get to the land's main attraction, an indoor dark ride rumored to feature all of the Universal monsters. The other ride for this land, an outdoor spinning roller coaster, is seeing prep work around its future queue areas within the center of the track layout. What appears to be a piece of prefabricated roof has shown up in this area. It is not clear if this section is being staged here for now, or if this will be its final resting place. One other project worth mentioning for Dark Universe is the windmill-themed dining location at the back corner of the land. The framing for the windmill structure itself is looking quite complex, with more and more elements being added to help flesh it out. Permits describe gas lines running to this structure to create a flame effect, which we expect will allow the windmill to look as though it is on fire, just as it appears in the Frankenstein movie. Brickwork can be seen along the edges of the structure, but additional pieces can also be seen staged on the ground nearby. These could be test sample mock-ups or pieces of prefabricated elements that have yet to be installed. The large-scale Parisian-style building facades of the Wizarding World land continue to grow and receive more detail. A section on the back right of the land is receiving framing now, for what may be the last facades needed to fill in the land. The area behind these facades will be used for future expansion, after a VR ride was canceled earlier in the park's construction. The land's main attraction, set within the British Ministry of Magic, is taking shape hidden away inside of its massive show building, seen on the right of this photo. Another attraction, a live stage show, resides in a theater building hidden behind the Parisian facades in the center of the land, seen at number 2 in this photo. Recent work has seen the facades for the buildings within this small side alley take shape, including the roofline. What will be a walkway connecting this open-air alley to the main street can be seen where the arrow is pointing, where a boom lift vehicle is currently parked. A restaurant, which can only be reached by entering this side alley, can be seen at number 1 in this photo. Acting as the park's central hub, as well as an entertainment complex with dining and shopping, and even as the theme park's 5th land in many ways, we believe this central area will be named Celestial Park, as it is expected to be themed as a celestial central park. With a few attractions of its own, Celestial Park's main draw will likely be Starfall Racers, the park's largest and fastest roller coaster attraction. This dual-track steel-launched coaster will be part of the park's hub and is not part of any of the other lands. It is not a How to Train Your Dragon roller coaster as some may believe. In fact, this roller coaster is expected to be themed to space, just like the Celestial Park area that it is a part of. As part of its space theming, and to go along with the Starfall Racers name, the attraction's iconic element is being created now. What looks to be themed as a rocket or shooting star, this large icon is being surrounded by orbiting rings. This icon will be set over a water feature where the roller coaster meets the central hub. And as we're about to see, Celestial Park, in the middle of Epic Universe, will be filled with kinetic water features all the way from the park entrance to the hotel at the back. In the center of the hub, at the center of the entire park, is where the other ride for this area is located. Constellation Carousel will be a covered carousel attraction. The ride will sit under the larger dome, while much of the queue will be located under this smaller dome. If we look into the ride pit, we can see what looks like new rebar that has been added and may be related to new foundation work beneath the ride. Zooming out, we can see a row of decorative fountains, seen at number 2 in this photo, set within the middle of the park's central water feature, and wrapping around the covered carousel. At number 3 in this photo is what appears to be prep work for what is rumored to be a location of a kid's splash pad area. As seen from this angle, this work is set fairly low compared to the ground level of the rest of the park. Just north of here is the park's large fountain display. Like a massive Bellagio-style show, this amphitheater will likely feature fountain shows all day, as well as a nighttime show choreographed along with fireworks. Starting in front of the hotel at the back of the park, which has received a few more floors of construction since we last checked in, cascading waterfalls will make it appear that all of the water features of the park are seemingly connected. With the guest pathways acting as bridges between the water features, we can see some of the cascading platforms leading to the fountain display here at the back of the park. On the other side of the carousel, a bridge separates the park's central lagoon and a lower water feature. The foundations of both of these are being worked on now. A network of pipes can be seen leading to the front of the park. Here they will pump water to some cascading waterfalls, which set off the whole motif. Once completed, the motion of the waterfalls at both ends of the park, as well as the lagoons, splash pad, and decorative fountains, plus the bridge-style pathways between them, will give the illusion of one continuous water feature throughout the entire center of the park. In addition to the hotel at the back of the theme park, expected to be named Universal Helios Grand Hotel, there are 2 more hotels being built in front of the park as well. Expected to be named Universal Stella Nova Resort and Universal Terra Luna Resort, these 2 hotels, located along Epic Boulevard and on either side of Kirkman Road, will be adorned with shiny, colorful, reflective tiles. These colorful tiles have already started to be installed on the first of the 2 hotels since our last update, and it appears that they are being applied 1 tile at a time. It's still too early to tell, but it looks like they may be grouped into different color schemes, so we may see some sort of sunburst-type mural using the various colorful elements. If so, that would go along with the Stella Nova name. An area around the entrance to this hotel also appears ready for these colorful tiles, and if so, it's going to be quite a sight to see when it's completed. That's going to wrap it up for this update, but a huge thank you to BioReconstruct for the amazing aerial photographs. You can follow him on social media for more theme park photos. Be sure to leave a like on this video and comment if you're enjoying our coverage of the new park. And make sure you're subscribed to never miss an update. For even more information, as well as behind-the-scenes posts, your name in the credits, and more, consider joining our Patreon to support what we do. Patreon.com/themeparkstop. Thanks for watching. See you next time.